All right, guys, let's connect. Today is September 29th, 2024, coming at you for our live stream for the next hour. And I haven't been on for a couple Sundays. I posted a video about my recent clinic that we opened up a couple weeks ago now. And so I've been pretty busy, and hopefully you guys are safe and sound. So a lot to talk about because a lot's been going on for the past, I don't even know the last time I did a stream was, but either way, it's been some time, and hopefully you're doing well, you're safe and sound. I live in Florida, in Pinellas County, right it's Tampa Bay. And so we had a hurricane come through, and it was hit the panhandle, the Big Bend area of the state, but we still got some winds, and my screen got all tore up where my pool and I is. My neighbor's fence got some problems, and my shed exploded again. So I probably shouldn't have a shed. That's what I've come up with on there as well. I have not seen the recent episode of Daryl Dixon season 2, The Book of Carol, but I have read some things about it with Daryl, Carol, Ash, and other characters that have come out, and new characters like that too. So, but I have watched season 3, episode 1 and 2 of From. So, spoiler warning for all things From, and of course Daryl Dixon, The Walking Dead on there too. So, if you haven't seen the stuff and you don't want to know, please stop watching now. But let's talk about some general stuff before we get into it. So, we'll keep it 15 minutes, the first 15 minutes of the hour. So hopefully you're safe and sound. You're doing well. If you live in Florida, if you live in Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Kentucky, Tennessee, like the storm went all through there, right? Hurricane Helene was just tore up some stuff. And now it looks like there's another area development in the same area in the Gulf of Mexico, or the Caribbean there around Mexico. Again, it hasn't formed yet, but they're saying that it could go a little more east, a little more west. They don't know yet. It's the same thing where we've been watching, but storms typically go in the Gulf and they go a little more east is what the meteorologists are saying. So we'll have to worry about that for another week. Well, we have to worry about storms until December 1st because hurricane season goes from June 1st to December 1st. Yeah, Rob K. and Cooey. Don't worry, we're going to talk about From season 3, episodes 1 and 2. But let's just talk about some general topics for the first 15 minutes. So give me about another, 12 minutes or so for that too. So football's going good, going strong, going like that. We lost power with the storm for like 5 hours, and then we got it back. I don't really have to worry about flooding where I live, thank goodness, but some people have, some people will, some people will have to worry about that stuff, and I'm sure there was a lot of damage from the storm. But I had to go to work the next day. Like, I had off on Thursday for the storm, moved patients from Thursday to Friday, and a lot of cancels, a lot of stuff goes on, and it's just the world goes on whether we like it or not, and it's just kind of crazy to think about that mindset is like, whether I was here or not, the world would keep going and people would still go to work or go to school or whatever on there. And hopefully you're doing well. We're wrapping up this year. So on Tuesday, it's October 1st, and I'm ready for October, November, December. I feel like that's the best time of the year, the fall and winter. My dad's coming here in next month, like end of October, so we'll have some fun there as well. Jonathan Wilder, Q&A. Hey, long time no see. Sorry I haven't been watched lately, but I had to get a new phone. So hopefully you're safe and sound, John, and your new phone's working good. But thank you, Planet of AI, Tim Negan 1, Big Tree, Rob K, Michael, and Kami, and John, and everyone else taking the time to be here. So it's just been a lot going on, and, it's one of those things where you have stuff with work, house, my yard, my garage, hurricane stuff, getting it ready, moving a clinic, trying to stay in there on there too. And now we're getting there. We're in October and wrapping up September, coming up on October. So what have we watched? So we watched the first episode of The Penguin on HBO Max. It was pretty good. Good start. We watched a whole series called The Perfect Couple with Nicole Kidman and Liev Schreiber or whatever his name is. And it was a decent, series. It's I think it's 6 episodes or so. And it wraps it up, and it's a story that kind of is like, what's going on here? It keeps you interested in what's happening. Of course, we're watching football. Watching From, of course, that we're going to talk about that. Give me about 10 more minutes, and we'll get into From. Like I said, I haven't seen the Daryl Dixon Season 2 premiere. But I've read some things about it, and I saw the first 10 minutes of it, a while ago. And so, I don't know, what's going to happen with Carol and Daryl, right? What is going to be the big thing? Clearly, Daryl is in France. He can take care of himself. Daryl is the big character that can be with any group and has been. He's been kidnapped, abducted, taken, and survived. Adapted, modified, changed, and been a survivor. So Carol going to save him, I don't know if Daryl needs saving, right? But Carol and Daryl working together is always good for the Walking Dead universe. I don't know what's going to... So Carol will eventually meet Daryl, right? If it's the second episode, third episode, it'll probably happen sooner rather than later because, again, there's only 6 episodes in these spin-off shows. But I was feeling like the Daryl show and Dead City feels like... If you ever play a video game and you finish the main story, but the game is open world, so you can still go do stuff like do side quests or side things or collect things or whatever. And that's what The Walking Dead feels like now. The main story is over, but hey, there's still a couple things to get. Here's this new DLC. So download it, check it out, keep you going in the world of this video game, this show, this series, whatever. But don't give up on it yet. I just feel like it's there. And of course, Daryl and Carol can carry a show. But who is after, Madame Jeanette or whatever, those people, origins of the Walker stuff, French CDC, Dr. Edwin Jenner, are there any going to be connections with stuff? Or are they just going through the motions to have okay, so we have some villains, because you can't just have Carol, Daryl, and the people surviving. You have to have a villain. A problem is the zombie apocalypse, obviously, but what is happening with that for the long term? Yeah, John, I watched the first episode of the Vince McMahon documentary on Netflix. But it's a lot of stuff I've already heard and talked about, the territories and all the stuff. And so hopefully the later episodes that are already out, I just haven't seen them yet, hopefully it's worth watching and it's new information that I haven't seen and some of the stuff that's come out, with these allegations and everything against him. We'll have to see what actually unfolds in the documentary. I just haven't seen it yet. But the Daryl Carol show to me is interesting, and I'll definitely check it out. I just haven't watched it yet. Dead City, I'm sure, will be next year. I believe they just started filming the 3rd season of the Daryl, and I guess we could say Carol show now. Daryl Dixon Season 3 in Spain. So, they've already started filming there, probably 6 episodes again. When are they going to come home? Because we know they're not coming home if they're filming in Spain for the 3rd season. So what is the idea of this? What is the whole thing with this? What is the whole story of there as well? Because Daryl, there's nothing left back home in the United States like a problem, right? CRM was stopped by Rick and Michonne. They're helping people now. The Civic Republic is helping people. It's not 3 different places. It's one world, one unity, one group, whatever it is, right? So the big thing about everybody working together is what's the problem for the story going forward? I don't know. It usually wraps up around there. Oh, okay. Negan one says, Vince McMahon documentary gets better later episodes. Watched entire doc yesterday. Yeah, so I'm hoping they just give more information because I always heard about the territories and this and his dad and talk about WrestleMania and everything. And, so I'm interested for sure because I grew up with wrestling and Hulk Hogan, and I saw that there's going to be a lot of people interviewed for it. So it should be great. And Vince McMahon is a charismatic guy. Everybody knows the WWE, well, WWF that became the WWE, and all these wrestlers. So we'll have to see. But the big thing about it is we're trying to make it through each day, get through as best you can, and hopefully you're doing well. I have my ups and downs, and I got a lot of stuff going on now with, worry about these hurricanes, worry about my house, worry about my job, worry about this, worry about all this stuff. And so it's going to be nice when you can just relax, have some downtime, but probably won't be till, November, December too. So cats are doing well. Milo and Otis are doing well, and it's just doing okay. And like I said, hopefully you're doing well with whatever you're doing. I just started my new book series, fourth chapter. Yeah, I just started chapter 4 this morning. And like when I wake up, I feel like I have to start doing stuff. It's from the minute I wake up to the minute I go to bed, I have to do stuff throughout the day. Like there's always enough stuff in the day that in my eyes that can get done, whether it's clean or organize something or throw something out or whatever. That's what I was doing. I was getting in the garage and just throwing crap out that I know I will never use, that I don't need on there. So that was a process there as well, and we're getting there. And I was working on a golf, not a simulator, but a golf setup. Like I have a net that can catch the ball. I have a mat, and I can get a full swing in my garage. And I just bought a launch monitor. I got it yesterday on Amazon, and I was trying it out. And, it's pretty awesome. I just got to fine-tune the setup on there, too. So, because I have a big golf trip next year that I'm trying to get, motivated for. And I've always wanted a golf simulator, golf thing. And it's just going to be a little, not basic, but kind of basic setup for hitting golf balls and doing everything, too. So, Rob K, now no flooding near me. He has any flooding near me? No, not by me, because I'm elevated where I live. But there was flooding around the area for sure, but not by my house. Like the beaches, Clearwater Beach, Treasure Island. If you want to look stuff up, look up Treasure Island, look up Clearwater Beach, look up stuff like that. There was a lot of massive flooding that I don't live anywhere near, so I wasn't worried about. I'm not worried about flooding typically. I'm more worried about the winds. And so my screen around my pool got tore up. We have kind of different PVC white fences, the privacy fences. Like I have mine on the right side, my neighbor's has his on the back side, and then my other neighbor has his on the other side. And so, I was doing something in the garage, and I look out there, and my neighbor's fence, like the white PVC fence top. So basically it's like a top piece, or it's a bottom piece, slats that go vertical, and then a horizontal piece that kind of locks in the PVC fences. And I guess one popped out, the top part popped out, and the panels flew out of it. And there was 2 panels in there, but the one kept swinging, and I kept watching it. I was like, that's going to fly out and hit, and luckily it didn't. But the one next to it too, and he repaired it. I guess they found all the panels and they put them back in. But as I was driving to work on Friday, that looked like a common thing for it too. So, but I don't have to worry about flooding. I have my pool is good level right now, and in case it overflowed, I have my valve open for the pool. I can just turn it on and it'll dump the water out for sure. But so yeah, I need to sell some stuff. I need to just get rid of it, and that's what I'm going to try to do at some point. But I don't want to have a sale of just have it out there and then people to haggle and all this stuff. I'm just take the box. This is how much it costs. That's it, kind of a thing. I just want to get it and I might do that because we do have yard sales, garage sales in the neighborhood. So I may take part of it, and I might have boxes full of stuff. I'd be like, $20 for the box, $40 for the box. That's it. Take it all. And be like, here you go, all gone. That's what I'll probably just end up doing. I'm just tired. It needs to go. Jonathan Wilder, Q&A. Did you grow up watching the Territories days in wrestling? I watched the ruthless, aggressive era growing up. No, I watched. When I grew up watching wrestling, it was already WWF, Hulk Hogan, Ric Flair, Ultimate Warrior, Macho Man, Ricky Steamboat, Junkyard Dog, Hacksaw Jim Duggan, Legion of Doom, Bret Hitman Hart, the Rockers. Andre the Giant, all people like that was my era. My favorite wrestler of all times, like I said, is Ultimate Warrior. And it just, nothing got, when you heard that intro music and he just comes sprinting towards the ring, you're like, yeah, it's time to go. Like, it was awesome. So, all right, guys, so let's talk about From Season 3 so far. So, spoiler warning, if you haven't watched From and you're going to plan to watch it and you don't want to know this information, stop watching now. Like I said, I have not seen Season 2, Episode 1 of Daryl Dixon, but I know about Carol going to find Daryl. She runs into a new character called Ash. They get to a plane, his plane. They're going to fly to France, and we know that Carol's going to eventually meet Daryl. There's a lot of things building up from it, and it sounds like it's a pretty good premiere from what I read. But I just don't know if the big thing is that Carol reunites with Daryl. We're like, been there, done that, and got the T-shirts. Like, what's going to happen with this too? Like, is Laurent is going to be the future of the world? Like, great. Like, he's a kid, he's a child. Is he immune? Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know what they're going with on there too. And I doubt they're going to answer any of those questions in the first couple episodes. It's going to be Carol trying to find Daryl, Daryl trying to stay alive, and then Carol and Daryl working together to take out Madame Jeanette and the people there too, Caudron and the rest of the people like that, is what I would assume. And then where does it go after that? Hopefully have a plan. So From Season 3 is good so far. Like, it's very good so far. And my wife was like, enough with this show. We want answers. And I was like, well, we got some pretty big answers in the first 2 episodes of Season 3. Michael, yeah, the Daryl show is on. It comes out early on AMC Plus at like 3 in the morning on Sundays. Like, not Thursdays anymore. It's Sunday mornings. So you get to watch it early in the morning for it. And I don't have AMC Plus, so I'm not watching that probably tomorrow I'll watch it. But so From Season 3, Episodes 1 and 2 are out now. And so it basically picks up at the end of Season 2. Right at the beginning. Tabitha, she's out. She's in Maine. She got out. She actually got out. And there's a lot of theories and a lot of stuff and a lot of people saying a lot of crazy stuff. But Tabitha has to be the key for Victor and Fromland. Because, so Tabitha wakes up in the hospital, St. Anthony's Hospital in Camden, Maine, and the police are coming to the hospital. Tabitha gets out. This is the first episode. And she gets out, and then she's walking around, and she's trying to figure out what to do, right? Because, like, imagine you're if you're Tabitha, like, what do? You have no phone. You have no way to contact anybody. You just left your husband and your kids. What do? So she goes to a spot, a marketplace. She borrows someone's phone. She calls her mom. She goes to a church. She talks to the priest. She talks to the priest a little bit, doesn't really get anywhere. And she looks inside the lunchbox. And the writing inside the lunchbox is like perfect handwriting. Like, it was written yesterday. And it's in pen. And it goes, if someone found the lunchbox, they know to return it to an address. So then Tabitha goes there, and it's actually Victor's dad that she meets. And that's basically the big stuff that happens in the first episode with Tabitha. And in Fromland, the food has gotten bad, the soil is rotten, the crops are dying. Like, it's just a bad situation. Like, so whoever's controlling Fromland is basically giving them a new test. The leaves are coming off the trees. It's basically winter when they filmed. So Victor is like looking around. Like, Victor doesn't tell anybody what happened. Like, he's not telling anybody, hey, Tabitha left through this tree and she got out. Like, he doesn't tell anybody how to get out, which is crazy, right? And so Jim and Kenny are going to go in the woods to see if they can find Tabitha or find Tabitha's tree or find they're going to look for Tabitha or a way to get to her. Boyd says if you find spider webs, you're going the right direction, blah, 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 which is probably the wrong direction because Boyd has no idea about the far, far away tree and the bottle tree and this and the lighthouse and all that stuff too. And so Kenny and Jim go to this cabin area where there was these totems and they hide there. Someone gets on the roof, but they're safe. And then in the next episode, which is episode 2, they wake up and there's all these, lettuce or cabbage or whatever and, mushrooms and whatever food that's by the water. And they bring it back to the Frumland to feed everybody, which is great. But the other thing that's really huge is in the end of the first episode is we get to see who Boyd. Remember in the trailer when everybody was like, who is it? Who is it? Who is tied to the thing? Like Boyd he's stuck to the pole because the monsters want him to suffer. And we all thought it was Sarah or Fatima. And nope, it's Kenny's mom, Tien Chen. And she gets ripped apart and by the monsters, and she was the one that dies. So it's not Sarah or Fatima, which we kind of thought it was one of those. But so the monsters, they let out all the animals because the soil is dying. So then they say, okay, well, the people are going to try to protect the animals. And so they go in, they just release all the animals. So they're the cow and the goats and the whatever are walking right down the street, and it's at night, so people have to go and protect them. And you're like, what the heck is that? So that Boyd goes out, grabs the cow, Jade comes out, does this, Tien Chen comes out. The people come out to protect the animals, and the monsters know that. And so they come out and set up a trap. They actually kill one of the cows, which is terrible. And I know it's a show and it's science fiction, but I feel bad for the animal, and I felt bad for Tien Chen, and I feel bad for Kenny, and I feel bad for these guys. It's true empathy for it. And so it's just if you haven't watched the show, you really need to watch the show. Hopefully you're watching it because it's really good, and they're giving answers already in this third season, and I really hope they're going to do a good job with it over and over and over there too. So it's pretty good. Yeah, the old lady that's from the beginning of the pilot episode, she comes back and she's about to open the door. So it's Ethan and Julie are going to go outside because Ethan has a connection with the goat, and Randall was going to kill the goat, but then Boyd stopped him, and the goat's walking down the street, and Ethan sees the goat and he wants to go save it. But as he opens the front door, the old lady from the pilot episode is there, and she comes in the house, and Julie and Ethan escape. Sarah helps them, and they get away. And Sarah's getting a raw deal because she saved people and helped people, but she was also... So I think Sarah's going to do something heroic again this season, but Sarah's still around. And so as the monsters are coming towards the animals, and Boyd and Tien Chen are there with, I'm pretty sure they had the cow. The monster slits the throat of the cow dies. They grab Boyd and they grab Tien Chen and put him in the barn, and they make Boyd watch as they rip apart Tien Chen, and she dies. And that's how the episode ends in the first episode. Fatima's not doing well. She's not eating right. She's sick. I forget the black guy. He's not falling asleep. I forget his name, but he's not sleeping, and because every time he falls asleep, he's worried about that creepy, skinny woman who looks like Fatima, who I'm guessing Fatima's going to turn into that. But because Fatima's not doing well. She's sick. She's throwing up. She's not eating. And then we find out in episode 2 a little bit more about that. So I think that's a breakdown of the first episode. I might have missed some things, but that's the big things that happen. Episode 2 picks up where that happens, and we see Jade go and find. Victor freaks out, grabs pictures out of a cat thing, and he just leaves. Julie is struggling, and everyone's struggling, and Boyd is in the barn still, and Jade goes in there and checks on Boyd, and Boyd is saying some weird saying, like, is he like possessed? He's this or whatever. We find out later on that's what Tien Chen said to him, and it's probably, I guess, Chinese or Mandarin, and it's a saying that he tells Kenny at the end, and we find out that it's what his mom said to Boyd, to protect him, watch over him, and help him or whatever. Basically, it's a nice saying because she knew that she was going to die. But Jade takes the key that the monsters left in Boyd's pocket, the handcuffs, and uncuffed him. And Boyd runs over to Tien Chen, who's already dead, and says, "I'm sorry." It breaks down. It's very sad. It's a very sad thing because the monsters are connected with Boyd, obviously. They want him to suffer. They want him to struggle. And Boyd says, "You ain't going to break me. You ain't going to do this. You ain't going to do that." And so they're doing more and more stuff. So Boyd stepping up is causing more of these problems. More people are going to die. They're going to run out of food. They're going to turn on each other. They're going to do a bunch of things. Like, it's going to be a lot of bad stuff. And it's connected with Boyd more than any other character there. And so Jade and Boyd bring Tien Chen's body back, and that's the body that's in the cart. They bring her back into the church, and they end up taking care of her, making sure that she looks good for the funeral, and to say Kenny say his final goodbye. So Kenny and Jim come back, and they show the food, and then Kenny freaks out, and the song that plays in the diner is like "Celebrate Good Times," and Kenny is like, so like they're clearly messing with them. Whoever's controlling it is like kind of, it's still very interesting. Like, who's the sandbox king? Who's the person who's playing with these characters and people? Like, oh, they just killed Kenny's mom, and Kenny's breaking down in the diner, and it's just is left alone. And the song that plays on the little jukebox thing, the tabletop jukebox thing, is "Celebrate Good Times." And it's like, you couldn't pick a worse song for him to feel better about. Like, it's ridiculous, right? So he destroys it. We saw from the trailer, and he leaves. And so it's just kind of crazy with that. And then Tabitha she wakes up in Victor's dad's house, and Victor's dad has a gun. And, they said that Victor's dad said that Tabitha fell asleep on his porch. So I guess he brought her inside and was sleeping on the sofa. And they talk. And so Victor's dad wants to know how she got Victor's lunchbox. And he doesn't say how long he's been away. Victor has been away. It just says a long time. And the time frame of things is kind of crazy too. So and Tabitha is telling the story of, like, they were in a thing and the tree came down, and they were in Colorado. They were driving in Colorado, and they were saying that I don't know where From Land is. I don't know where this purgatory terrible place is. And she ends up in Maine now, of all places. And Victor's dad doesn't believe her. He called the police. They're on the way. And then she's trying to prove to him. So there's a website that has the Matthews family. There's missing for that. And there's just stuff that shows, like, people are looking for these people, like Boyd and, Kenny's family and all these people there too. So then luckily we get more answers to it at the end of the episode, because we find out about Victor's dad and Victor's mom, and they were hippies and they were doing drugs, and then they stopped doing drugs, and she started to have these hallucinations because Tabitha talks about the kids trapped in the tower. And yeah, they're both in Maine. That's right. Tim says I got Tabitha and Carol in Maine. Exactly, because Carol goes to Maine to find Daryl's outpost place thing, and then Tabitha's in Maine as well. So yeah, both characters are in Maine. And so Victor's dad says, "You're not here for me. You're here for what's in the basement." So luckily they show us what's in the basement this episode. We didn't have to wait, which is very good. I'm glad they're showing us stuff, right? We don't have to wait till next week. So they go in there, and he says these are all his wife's paintings. And they are all of Fromland. It's like the Ankui kids, they're all dressed in white. The tower, the Civil War guy that Jade saw, just so many things. The diner, like everything that is in Fromland is in Victor's mom's head. So it's just crazy. Like, where is this going? If you didn't buy into the show and you were like, this makes no sense, this is stupid, we need answers. Hopefully you're like, wow, we got some stuff, right? Yeah, Dana Marie, I love From. From is one of my favorite shows now with, I forget who told me it. I think it was one of our subscribers told me about the show, and we started watching it, and it's awesome. Like, to me, it's the best show nobody's watching. And like right now, the first 2 episodes, man, they're giving us stuff. Like, this is all I'm hoping for. I really hope we get a 4th, maybe 5 seasons. Like, if we get another season with it and they wrap it up, I'm good with that. But if they got to do it in 5, like, don't string it out and prolong it, but don't make it so abrupt. Just make it right. And right now they're doing a good job with it. And so it's just crazy the way the episode ends with Tabitha and Victor's dad and the paintings and everything. And I was like, dang, man, that's like awesome. It was cool too, right? So Dana Marie says, we hold a panel on Monday nights for content creators to come have a live discussion with each other. If you come, I would love to. What time? Because I have to work till 5:30 tomorrow, and then I got to get up early for Tuesday for work, of course. But if it's not too late, I would love, maybe not this week, but maybe in the future, a week or so, I wouldn't mind doing it for sure. But let me know. But 8 o'clock, okay. Is it like an hour long, or how long do you usually go for? Because I would love to talk about it too, and I would love to cover the topic too. Because I think this show needs more love. Like if From was on Netflix, or if From was on another network, it would be like, wow, this is an amazing show. So we have to spread the word for From, because Boyd Harold Perrineau, I don't know how to say his last name, is amazing. Like, he should get an Emmy or whatever. He like, everyone does a great job. Donna, we're talking with Boyd this episode. Like, Donna was pissed at Boyd, and Boyd, I just love Boyd's response. Like, what did you want me to do? Last week, yesterday, you said we're running out of food. The resource was the animals. The monsters let out the animals. They got out. I was trying to protect the animals. And then Donna's like, no, our people are the resource. We are the people. We are the family. We are this. And Boyd is like, you're crazy. Like, what do you want me to do? I couldn't win. I couldn't do this on there too. Like, this is not what we wanted to happen, blah, blah, blah. And then luckily Donna was like, okay, you made a decision. You were stuck. You couldn't do anything. Like, whatever you did, it was going to be bad. And so I really like that dynamic. Like, the writing just seems like real too, of like the people's emotions. Like, you had to feel for Boyd. Boyd was like trying to do it. Boyd is trying to do the best thing he could do every episode, every time. Like, I love Boyd. Boyd is like Rick Grimes, right? Like, he's trying his best, but what could he do? And Harold does a great job. He's like, I like this actor, and everything he's been in, when he was in The Matrix and Sons of Anarchy and all this stuff too. He's done a great job. And this is just another thing added to him too. He would have been probably a great Ezekiel too. I don't know if he was in the running for that, for The Walking Dead, but Harold, I think, would have done a great job too. And Also, I did see that he did an interview, and he says, like, at the end of the season, we're going to have our hearts broken. So I don't know what that means. I don't know where it's going, but, man, if it's setting something up, because I don't know if it's been renewed for a fourth season or whatever. I never saw Oz, but I'm sure he's great. I don't remember him ever being in something where I was like, I don't like this guy. Like I've always liked him, and he just seems like a regular, genuine person, like John Bernthal. Like I just like the guy too. Yeah, Tulsa King, Tim. That's the other show we're watching. Tulsa King came back for the second season on Paramount Plus, and yeah, it's okay. Like the whole thing with Jelly Roll and stuff didn't make sense in the second episode, but it was kind of crazy. So. Yeah, Diana, the second episode of From is up on MGM Plus. It should be up too. So, but yeah. So when Kenny was asking for help, and they took care of Tien Chen and Jade and everything, and they made her look good for the funeral, and it was just like. Sad. Like it was a big episode for sadness, but then we got a lot of answers from Victor's dad about Victor's mom, and like it was so connected with, like, it was so crazy. Like, and all I know is that I saw photos of this season, and Tabitha is back in with her husband and kids, so she makes it back into Fromland. So they're going to figure out a way to get back in. And if there's a way to get back in, they can get back out too. So, sorry, my wife says that Publix is nuts. Not sure if people just got their power back on or what, but I had to park all the way in the back. So, my wife's at the shopping right now, and Publix is where she goes. So. And so, yeah, sorry, I just saw a message from the screen people that can't come out until like the end of October. So my screen's got to be all messed up there too for another month, but it's all right. Carly says, a lot of people said it's all bad writing, but I don't think it is. I think it's been amazing. Love seeing you cover this PT, usually Walking Dead when I'm watching it. Yeah, I don't think the writing is bad at all on this show. Like, I think the writing is what it is. Like, it's a science fiction kind of crazy place of where they're going, and I think they've done well with it. I don't think that's fair. I don't think it's fair to say that the writing has been bad at all, because they've had things that have worked well, like when Boyd has here and he's been here for so long and talking with this, and I think every character has served its purpose too. Like, I don't think there's been anything out of place. And so the way the episode ends too is that Jim, after the, I guess, viewing for Tien Chen, and Boyd talks to his son, he says that he needs his help tomorrow. They're going to capture one of these things, one of the monsters. I don't know how they're going to capture them, what they're going to do, but they want answers. So it's kind of like Boyd is tired of playing defense. Like, he's going to try to get some stuff out of it too, which is not going to bode well for the town of Fromland. Like, it's just not going to be good. Like, it's not going to be good for these people at all. The whole thing with Fatima, right? So Fatima and her husband go to the clinic, and they need to get help, but they have to, have, I'm sorry, I'm blanking on the names right now, but, they have to get help from the drug addict woman who's a doctor, who's a nurse, a pediatric nurse. And Fatima's not eating, and she's throwing up in the toilet, and she's just not doing well, and she's sick, and she's got, morning sickness and everything on there too. Yeah, Mary. Thank you. I'm just like, I'm blanking on all the names because there's so many characters that are left too. Yeah, Maribel. And so, and then, I would have been like, if I was her, I'd be like, look, I'm not the doctor, but I know what I'm doing. Right? Like, I know what's going on. I've been around tons of pregnant women and it'll be okay. And it's her job to make them feel, safe, because I know when I'm seeing that too as well. So, yeah, so Christy's haircut, I'm sorry, looks terrible. She looks like she's from 1983. Like, and there's nothing wrong with that, but the haircut, the style, like she just looks like out of place for what it was. And when she was working with Jade on Tien Chen or whatever, she was busy in town, which made sense, and being there for Kenny, which was nice. I feel bad for Kenny. So Kenny lost his dad and his mom to these stupid monsters. Stranger, that's true. A Stranger Things haircut, for sure. She's stuck in Stranger Things land. Which, when is that coming back? I know they were filming, but I don't know when that show's coming back. But so Fatima's not eating. Nothing tastes good. Nothing sounds good. She's a picky eater, right? And when she comes back to the house, the people that she's looking to her right are trying to do something with the rotten food. Yeah, well, The Last of Us. Yeah, so hopefully you guys saw the trailer for The Last of Us. That looks amazing for next year, but that looks really good. I mean, it just looks really good for we know what to happen. You know what to expect for season 2 if they're going the way of the game. But and then the lady said it's rotten food. It's not good. They're trying to figure out what to do. And Fatima's like, that sounds good. So she walks over to it. No one else is around because the 2 women went away with the food. And there's a basket of rotten food. And she starts eating it. So this child is not good. Because Fatima loses a tooth. The baby is like being a succubus, which basically happens to the mom. The parasite of the baby, the fetus, is sucking the host, the mom, dry, so. And if you're in this lane, you don't have prenatal vitamins, you're not having enough water, enough food, enough rest, enough checkups. Like, it's not, even in a regular world now, like, that's got to be dangerous to have children. And it's kind of crazy too. So I wonder what's going to happen with this baby, right? Like, is she going to be sick the entire season? I don't know if enough time's going to go by for her to have the baby, maybe at the end of the season. Because again, Harold said that we're going to have our hearts broken at the end of the season. And we've already have our hearts broken a little bit so far. So it's going to be a tough season. We're going to lose people. We're going to have this. But the way this show is that you can lose a character, but then Boyd can hallucinate. Like, look at the father, whatever his name is. He's come up in Boyd's hallucinations for 2 seasons now. And so he's not going anywhere. And so it'll be interesting to see what they're going to do. So Kenny was going, Father Cothry. Yeah, thank you. I'm blanking on the names. Like, I know the characters. I'm just blanking on all the names right now because I don't have any notes in front of me. I'm just winging it for what I'm saying. But great actor and, good big part. And I'm glad they're keeping him around. So Kenny's like, I'm going to take this alcohol and I'm going to burn up these monsters in the cave, which they don't do. And Boyd's like, I ain't going to stop you. Let's go do it. And Kenny's like, oh, okay. So probably if Boyd tried to stop Kenny probably goes to do it. But then Boyd says, sure, let's go. Let's go kill these monsters, right? But I thought it was very, very interesting that Boyd said that Tabitha went into the cave and saw monsters with Victor. And Jade went in the same cave and saw no monsters. And saw the symbol and the thing and saw that too. So it's crazy that the cave is so different for everybody in there too. So the cave is probably some sort of connecting point with each character that is connected with their subconscious or their fears or their hopes or their whatever. So it's very much geared to them. So it'll be interesting when someone else goes in the cave, what's going to happen with them? Like, what's going to happen next? So, like I said, I already saw the picture that some people have posted that Tabitha gets back into Fromland. So, how does she get back? And so they said at the beginning of the season that Tabitha woke up in St. Anthony's Hospital and they did this, and that hikers found her 3 days ago. And she had no identification on her, so she's Jane Doe and blah, blah, blah. And so after an injury like that too, and she didn't say like, oh yeah, the boy in white pushed me out of the tower, the lighthouse tower. And it's just like, how do you get back in? And does everybody, like, I doubt everybody's going to get pushed through the glass thing. Like, I don't think everybody's going to get out. So, excuse me. I hope they know where they're going in the show too. And I've never seen Lost, but a lot of people didn't like the ending of that. And then the same people that made Lost are some of the people that are making the show. So hopefully they learned what to do, because the buildup of seasons is great, but we have to have a payoff. We have to have some sort of thing where we're building it up, building it up, building it up. Like The Walking Dead used to have the best build up there was. And that the payoff wasn't always there. Some better than others. And this is not The Walking Dead, but the stuff can be done well or not too. So I'm interested to see how these characters are connected, because Boyd was standing by the pool that has the overturned car in it. And he's like, I don't even remember whose truck was this truck in the pool. Like, it was so many people have come and gone through there that, and I want to know, like, what's up with the time here in Fromland? Are you there for so many years and then you get back in and it's the same amount of time? Is time linear there? Like, I don't know if it's the same timeline. But, and also the years that are there in the lighthouse, there's some, pretty big dates on there too. Like 1883 is I think the first creation of the Marines. And there's a lot of good stuff. A lot of good stuff on there too that I think the writers hopefully have connecting points. Like, I really hope they're not just winging it and be like, all right, this season we're going to do this. Next season we're going to do this. Like, hopefully they have a plan, how many seasons, how the story is going to come together. And right now I'm enjoying it so far. Like, I really hope season 3 is the best season and it just gets better and better and better, and then it ends too. So I just like the idea of the people that are there are going to be explained why. And so Dana Marie says 6 seasons. So I'm okay with 6 seasons as long as it makes sense. Okay, so yeah, so they do talk about time a little bit on there as well. So 6 months here and so many, like Victor was there for a little kid and now he's like, I don't know. So I think some people were saying he's like 60 years old. But how is he so, like, I don't know how old Victor's dad's supposed to be. Yeah, I wouldn't say Victor is 60, right? So Tim says a lot on YouTube has said Victor is in his 60s. I don't think he's in his 60s, and they say and Tim thinks he's in his 40s. So yeah, that would make sense if his dad is like 65 and Victor is 45. I don't know. It could make sense too, so. But I don't know if stuff's going to make sense. So Dana says Victor's in his mid-50s. So yeah, it makes sense if you're 50s, 70s. Because I think there'd be like a 20-year difference. So whatever Victor is, add 20 years with his dad. But it's just, it's good. It's a good show, Like I like different shows. I like something that's out there a little bit. But the build-up is there. The story is there. The writing is there. You feel for these characters. Like, I like these characters. Like, Fatima can be kind of annoying, and Kenny was kind of annoying, but they're better this season. And I feel bad for Sarah. So, do you guys like Sarah? Do you feel bad for her? Like, because I feel like her being around is going to be, she's going to do something to save people, and then she's going to have like a heroic death. I think she's going to make her a sacrifice for it too. So, but that's just my guess. And there's just a lot of things going with the show that's drawing me in still, and like where it's going to go. Like in 2 episodes, I think that it's already set the tone very well for this 3rd season. And the problem with shows, as I've said this before and I'll say it again, is if they end too soon or if they get dragged on too long. But I think 5 to 6 seasons is the good point. The natural starting, middle, and end. So you have 1, 3, and 6. So beginning, middle is 3, ending is 6. So it makes sense to have those points. And I think that's pretty good to have. And if so, it's 5, 6 seasons. If Dana Marie is correct, I'm excited to see where it goes too. Phantom asks, Q&A, have you seen her? If not, a little description. An introvert writer while interacting with an AI for his work falls in love. Dude, is that the one with Joaquin Phoenix? And is it like Scarlett Johansson's voice is the AI? Is that the movie? I have never seen that movie, Phantom, but is it good? Rob K likes Jade. Jade's great. I mean, I like Boyd, of course. I think Boyd's my favorite character. But secondary characters, Jade is pretty great too. So Dana says, the showrunners said this season is the end of the beginning. So, okay. So hopefully that means like the start is going to finish. Then we're going to get to the middle point and then the end of it too. So I think it's good too. So. Trink, thank you for the super chat. Says, first time here. I don't think the actor Harold would have signed on without making sure they had a plan after the problems with Lost. So I hope so too. Like that's a good point. Like if you're a starting actor, like Harold has been around for a little bit now. And I would assume that I wouldn't want to do a project that I don't feel there's good character development. It builds to the strengths, but I hope so. Like I hope, because Harold will be around to the end, right? Like Harold might sacrifice himself at the very end so his son and daughter-in-law can survive, and maybe the child, if the child survives too. Like I think he would do the ultimate sacrifice so that people could get out, because they made a thing here. Like Donna said that, you told me we're going to get out of here, out of this place. And she's like, I believed you. And she's like mad at herself because she thought about the hope and believed into it too. And so the show starts and ends with Boyd, in my opinion. And so I think it's going to be that big thing where he's got to do something there too. And, I think Boyd's got to be the hero. And I think he will too. Yeah, Fear the Walking Dead. The end is the beginning. Like, Fear the Walking Dead was so... It had potential, and it could have been whenever it wanted to be, and I just wish it was better. Like, it had good actors. It had decent writing at times. They just didn't have a path that made sense. And then you kill off characters, and you do this, and it's just so stupid. So yeah, so, like... That's the other thing, too, is like, why did the monsters spare Boyd? Like, they made him watch, and they said, because he said, you can't break me. You ain't ever going to break me. You're not going to do this. And so the monsters were like, okay, we're going to keep trying. But why, though? Why do this to Boyd? What did Boyd do? Did he do something and early on in his life in the Marines that he's paying for now? Is he hallucinating? Is he locked up somewhere? Is he in a coma? Is he in a psych ward? Like, is he, what's going on here? Why is this happening to Boyd? Because the monsters could have killed Boyd time and time and time again, but they don't. So, of course, if you lose Boyd, who runs the town? Who takes over things, right? He's our leader, so it just makes sense there too. But why not kill Tien Chen, make him suffer, and then kill him, right? I don't know. Like, he had the worms, and then he did this, and then he need more worms to kill them too. So it's just a lot of things where, like, I don't want Boyd to die by any means, but, like, to me, it's just like, well, what's going on there too? Yeah, Tim says, Q&A, noticed the monsters knew Boyd's name. Interesting, I thought. Yeah, exactly. Like, so at the end, sorry, I missed this at the end of it too. So Jim goes into his house, and he answers, the phone rings, he answers it, and it's his son, Thomas, I think was the son that wasn't born. And that's how the episode ends. So why does everybody talk to Jim on the phone? Like, Jim's the only one that answers the phone. And, like, if Thomas was a baby, or, you know, a fetus, or whatever the term was, that didn't mature into a person, into a child, into a man, what's going on with that? Like, what's going on with the phone and Jim and that too? And I thought it was interesting that Tien Chen had all this food that she was canning and keeping there too, and the people took it from her. And so they stole her food, so she provided food for the people. She was trying to get the cow back into the barn with Boyd and the other animals in there too. She's captured, ripped apart, torn apart, killed. Then the next morning, there's all this food by the water, by the wood places, the old shack, cabin things that where Jim and Kenny were at. So, what was on the roof? Like, what was on the roof when they heard it too? Like, we didn't see what it was. So I was like, man, a lot of stuff left there too. So I'm sure they're going to have to go back to get the rest of the food, like the lettuce and the stuff there too. So Mesmery, Thomas is the boy in white clothes. I never really thought about that. BJ Logan 007 Q&A just got here. Hey, Bri, what's your expectations about The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon Season 2? What do you expect to happen, want to see happen, or predictions? So my predictions are that nothing's really going to come of this season that great besides Carol and Daryl working together to take on Madame Jeanette and take her out. And either they have to kill her or she gets away and she's still the villain for Season 3 because we know we're getting a Season 3. Does Cadrone help them? I don't know what's going to happen with, the other characters around there too. I'm not sure what to expect. I just think Carol and Daryl working together is always good, but I just keep my expectations low and I don't really know too many spoilers, and I'm kind of glad I don't, for it. So I just don't know. Yeah, I kind of do. Carly says, do you think it was a sacrifice for the food kind of thing? That's what I kind of think too. Like, I see a connection of like Tien Chen had all this food in her house. The people came in, took the food. Tien Chen was upset about it, blah, blah, blah. She helped or tried to help with the animals. And then she was killed, and then they got something too. Like, because the people who are controlling From Land are doing whatever they want, right? Like, they could poison the soil, they could make it snow, they can move the trees, they can do this, they can have the cicadas, they can have all this crap, but the circle of life, right? Like, I think it kind of comes back to that as life, that, like, of course, people, plants, food, animals, trees, whatever, the soil, the earth, everything coming back to that. I just see some sort of connection with that as well. And I feel like this show has a lot of those things. So I just don't know what to make of it. I just saw like a possible connection there as well too. So yeah, so does BJ Logan, does Carol make it out? Yeah, of course. Carol, Carol ain't going to die. Carol and Daryl cannot die. Neither of those characters in the Walking Dead universe, Carol and Daryl, got the plot armor city. There's no way that either of them die at any point, is my on there as well. So, all right, guys. So that was my hour. It went quick. It was good to, I would say, see you guys, but I can't see you guys at all. But I just see the chats. Thank you, Trink, for the super chat. As always, appreciate on there too. Let me know, Dana Marie, let me know about the Monday thing, about the chat about from, because I definitely want to get into that from time to time. Maybe I'll pop in, say hello, kind of a thing too. So you can always message me on here, like as a thing, or I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, I'm on there too. We have a Facebook, group for the PT channel. I know that as well. But send me a message here, or we could do a private message kind of thing and let me know on there as well, Dana Marie. But there's a couple different ways to reach out that way. There's an email on there as well. So if you need to reach out that way, on there as well. Isaiah, my guy. Today is my birthday, so happy birthday, Isaiah Reyna Jr. You can't see it because it's lower, but I got my Cowboy shirt on, representing. Big win on Thursday against the Giants. And, we'll see how it goes. But, yeah, let me know, Dana Marie, and, I appreciate that. I appreciate you guys taking the time. Hopefully I'll be back next Sunday, barring, storms, how we're going to be there too. But I'll be back to talk about From, and, of course, Daryl Dixon a little bit as well going forward. But definitely check out From, guys. MGM Plus, it is worth watching, especially with this third season so far. Thank you for taking the time. I appreciate it. And remember, guys, with hard work, dedication, belief, and sacrifice, you can truly achieve your goals. Believe in yourself. You can do it no matter what it is. Keep working hard. Keep doing it. You can. I'll see you guys next Sunday. Stay safe, and I'll see you guys.